Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to answer the questions I asked my Instagram followers to DM me, questions about twin mom life. So the first question I'm going to start off with is, I'm actually going to answer 7 questions. It's the top 7 questions that I get asked all the time. So the first question I'm going to ask is, were you on fertility drugs? And the answer is no, I wasn't on fertility drugs. Like, I got asked this question a lot, even in the hospitals. They were like, did you get pregnant? I mean, was this an accident or was this like planned? Like, was this on purpose? I'm like, no, this was not planned. Like, whoever plans, I don't know. A lot of people do plan to have twins, but I didn't. Like, I didn't expect it at all. It was a huge shock. So no, I did not use fertility drugs to get pregnant with twins. Twins actually, the next question is, do twins run in your family? So no, twins don't actually run in my family. They run in my boyfriend's family. So yeah, that was a complete shock to be carrying twins. So the third question is, how does your body feel after twins? I can honestly say that my body...
Hi guys, what are you doing though? The babies go to the doctor and they got shots.
Baby, I'm answering questions.
Why? I want to talk.
You can talk later, okay? Say hi and then say bye. Okay. What?
I want to talk.
Okay, go ahead, talk.
So the babies go to the doctor, so they wait here. So they got shots, and now bye.
Bye, baby. So the third question is, how does your body feel after twins? My body feels completely different than it did before. It feels completely different from when I had my first child. After I had my first son, my body went straight back to normal, but now my body feels completely different. And maybe some of it has to do with me not going back to work right away, because after I had my son, I went to work like 4 months after I had him. So with the twins, I'm actually staying at home, so that's probably why I don't get out much. I try to work out at home more because I don't get out much. So maybe that's a reason why my body feels different. But also, I did get a C-section with the twins. In my first pregnancy, I didn't get a C-section. It was vaginally. So the C-section, I have a scar under my belly button, and usually they say that your body takes time to get back to its normal state. Like, everything has to get smaller and go back to normal. But so I'm waiting on that. It's been like, the girls are 5 months, and actually I haven't seen a change since, and I'm weighing a lot more than I did after I had my son. So this month I'm actually starting a vegan diet, so I'm like cutting out all meat for a month and seeing if I'm able to lose the weight that I want to lose after this pregnancy. The fourth question is, how did the twins' delivery feel compared to your son's delivery? So delivering my son was a breeze, okay? Like, after I delivered my son, I was like, oh my God, I want to have 8 more kids. Like, I was like, oh. After delivering my son, I was like, I want to have 8 more kids. This is a shock, but I did at the time, because being pregnant with him, like, I was always out and about. Like, I didn't have any kind of contractions or nothing. And then when I went in labor, when I went into labor, like, my water didn't break. I felt like it was time. So I went to the hospital. Like, we weren't rushing. I think I'm gonna have the baby today. It was one night, and me and Eric went to the hospital, and I delivered him the next day. I went to the hospital at 8 p.m. with him. The next day I delivered him at 3 p.m. and like, it was such a breeze. Like, I was numbed. I had the epidural, so I was numbed. I didn't feel anything. I was just pushing. Of course, pushing a lot was exhausting. That was it. But I pushed him out, and everything was a breeze. I was like, oh, this was easy. And that's another reason why I was like, okay, I want another kid, because I actually wanted 8. And I was like, you know what? I know pregnancies are not all the same. And I definitely can see that now, because at first I was thinking, okay, maybe it should be the same because the first time was so easy. So with the twins, oh my God, I just literally, I do not want to be pregnant ever again after carrying twins, okay? Like, I started having morning sickness after 6 weeks. I had morning sickness. I stopped working at my regular job, and I got a new job at Macy's. And as soon as I got that job is when I started feeling sick. So I had to leave that job because of how sick I felt. I couldn't leave the house. That's how bad it was. Like, I was nauseous all the time, and I was just in bed constantly. Like, I was out of breath the majority of the time. I would literally stand in the shower and have to rush out because I was literally trying to catch my breath, because these babies, they were born both 4 pounds. So I was carrying like 8 pounds inside me. Ryan, he was 7 pounds. So you wouldn't think that that was a huge difference, but there was 2 kicking on my ribs, kicking on everything, like pushing up on me. I was like, Lord, please hurry up and get these babies out of me, please. So I was 8 months, and I kept going into preterm labor. I would be in the shower or anywhere, and I would start bleeding. And I was like, oh God, let me just go to the hospital and check this out. I was bleeding controllably. So I went to the hospital one night, and they told me I was 3 centimeters dilated. But they sent me home. And like, no, actually, okay. I went to the hospital that night, and I went to the hospital out here in Riverside where I live. I went here, and they didn't know what was going on, so they were just like, okay, just take it easy or whatever. So I went home, and then I think like a week or so later, I was having like really bad heartburn. And so like, I never knew what contractions felt like. So I go to the hospital, and they're like, these aren't heartburn, this is contractions. I was having really bad heartburn for like a week or 2. They were like, you're having contractions like over and over and over again. So I'm just like, oh my God. It was the worst pain I've ever had. I'm gonna be honest. It was really bad. I was in the hospital, 3 centimeters dilated still, and they told me that I had to stay at the hospital because the babies could be born any day now. And at that time, I was 32 weeks, and they wanted me to make it to 34 weeks. To have a baby that's not preterm, or that's not premature, you would have to last over 36, 37 weeks. That's full term for twins. So I was in the hospital for 2 weeks having these heartburn contractions. They gave me steroid shots one night, and then another steroid shot 24 hours after that, just in case I did go into labor. The steroids was to help them with their lungs, you know, so they'll be able to handle it being born early. So after being pregnant, after being in the hospital for 2 weeks, I leave the hospital Thanksgiving Day, and I go to my sister's place, and I stay with my sister for a week. And then I call my boyfriend. I'm like, you know what, I'm fine, let's just go back home. My sister lives in Long Beach, and we stay like she stays down the street from Long Beach Memorial, and that's where I was gonna have twins, and that's where I also had Ryan. So I wanted them all at the same hospital. So after being at her place for a week, I said, let's go home. Like, I don't think I'm gonna have the babies, let's just go home. So I went home that day. The next day, I go into labor, and I know this because I'm having really bad heartburn, which I thought was heartburn, but they told me it was contractions. So now I know I'm having contractions. We go to the hospital, and they give me an emergency C-section. I go to the hospital, and they give me a C-section 30 minutes after that, and they give me a spinal block. With my son, I had the epidural. Okay, like, that's a needle they put in your back. Like, I didn't feel any pain after having that. Usually they say when you get the epidural, you start feeling like back pains after the epidural, like years after you have your kids. I didn't feel any of that. But with the spinal block, I can still feel like pain in my spine. Like I can still feel it. It hurts like hell. So I would suggest that if any of you moms having twins or having singles and get a C-section, don't let them give you the spinal block. Like, I would prefer the epidural. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Don't get the spinal block. So I got that. We were I didn't feel them. I was numb from the chest down. Okay, so the side effects from getting a spinal block, after they gave me the spinal block, they laid me down on my back, and I started, like, I couldn't breathe. I was like, I can't breathe. I'm having shortness of breath. What's going on? What's going on? And they're like, oh, it's just the sign after. It's just a little sign after you get the spinal block. It'll happen. It'll go away. It'll go away in a second or so or whatever. But it was like the worst feeling ever, not being able to breathe. Like I really was trying to catch my breath. I'm like, something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. And the lady's like, oh, it's fine. You'll be okay. So no, I suggest you do not get the spinal block. I would never do that again. That leads me to my sixth question, I think it's my sixth question. I answered how does your body feel. I answered how do twins compare. Okay, fertility. Do you want more kids? That's my wait. Do twins run in your family? Okay, this is the fifth question. Do you want more kids? No, I do not want more kids. I only wanted 2 and I got blessed with 3. I'm grateful for that. I wanted to have 1 boy and 1 girl, so I have 1 boy and 2 girls, which is perfect. And I'm glad I got the last 2 out of the way in one shot, because if I only had 1 kid the second time around, I don't think I would have went again for another round. So happy for that. The 6th question. What do you do when both babies are crying? When both of the babies are crying, I usually, like, I see what's the issue. I check their diapers to see if they pooped or anything. But I would first cut on their show. They like this show on Netflix. It's called Little Baby Bums. I turn that on just to calm them down at the same time so they can calm down. Then I pick up one and I check diapers, see what's going on. But sometimes if Little Baby Bum doesn't work, one of my daughters, Aria, she loves to stand up, so I put her in her walker and I'll hold Ariel, who likes to be held a lot, or I'll feed them, and that's pretty much it. Because my babies, when they cry, they only cry when they're hungry or they want to be held. So that's it. One of them wants to run around and she can't, so I'll just put her in her little walker. Like, they're easy babies. The 7th question is the last question is, how is their sleeping schedule? Oh my god, their sleeping schedule is horrible. They're 5 months, and I put them to sleep between 8 and 9. That's their bedtime, 8 and 9. And for some reason, they're still waking up like every 2 to 3 hours. They're not actually like fully waking up. They're crying for like a bottle. So I'll get their bottles. And lately, Aria has been waking up at 5:30 in the morning and not going back to sleep. And then she'll end up waking up her sister. So I'm up at 5:30 in the morning trying to put on their little show so they'll calm down so I can sleep like an extra 30 minutes. But it's horrible. I've been looking up ways to get them to sleep better. I know, like, it says like when they sleep less, they must be sleep deprived, but they take pretty good naps. I mean, they're napping right now. They take like 2 to 3 naps a day. Oh, excuse me. So I don't know. I'm just gonna wait it out and hopefully things get better after a while, and I'm sure they will. I mean, I'm kind of used to not getting enough sleep. I didn't really get good sleep until Ryan turned 3, so I'm pretty much used to it. Say hi. And that was all the questions. Thank you guys for asking them. And if you have any more questions, feel free to DM me or comment down below. I hope that this video was helpful for moms and soon-to-be moms, or mommies that want to have twins and are pregnant with twins. I hope this was helpful to you. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Say bye, baby.
Bye. You are.
Bye.